Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Tokwe Mark Odige, and with me, as usual, are the beautiful ladies of your view. How you doing?
Whoop, 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 whoop.
You're looking bright in yellow. Yes, sir.
Riam Fashion sent me a box of boo-boos. So I'm launching them one by one, one by each. Because as you launch, it goes.
Yeah.
How did you know?
I know.
They visited me. Lovely people.
They have invaded your wardrobe.
Yes. I don't have to declutter. I love as the space in my house. But today, na Nepal. I just reviewed the past months, even during fasting. It's like we have offended them at our.
It's not you alone, no.
What band is
There's
that?
no place you did not touch you.
Yeah. We are bandits.
we are band A.
We are bandwagon.
We are band
No,
A.
I love
and yet there's no power.
Bandits now will be for where I did that side of town. I just don't understand. Yesterday they finally brought the light, and my kids did not even understand to put it on the freezer because I looked at the solar and I'd killed the battery using it to freeze everything because I have food, and so I turned it off. But I thought they would know to put it on. By the time I go by, I say, I want them Munode or what in Mulo. I say, see, am I back to this situation? This was not me. And please, you people know yourself. I don't want to do anything. You people should just understand and arrange yourself before I start to mention.
Abigail, good to see you on a weekday.
Yeah,
how you
thank
doing?
you very much. It's always a delight to be here on weekdays because I get to see your beautiful faces.
I
see her all the time. Right?
Yes, I didn't know you went to school.
I studied English, by the way.
Can you imagine? And then now put you. How you doing?
Very well.
Green looks good on you, though.
Thank you very much. I've been soaking in the compliments and all that. I just want to say happy birthday to someone who not like introduced me to acting, but he's been instrumental because he told me, go open a TikTok account and learn how to practice on TikTok. So Uncle Ben Chiadika, Pastor Ben Chiadika, he celebrated his 60th birthday this week, and then he's doing his book launch today. So I
congratulations.
feel like it's the best I can do to wish him a happy birthday on the show.
Happy birthday.
Obiajulu.
Hi.
It's giving us the vibe.
What can we do now? You will say
I'm channeling my own Obiajulu moment. How you doing?
I'm good. So, I've been trying out different recipes. We're doing more protein and vegetables. We're taking out all the carbs. And yesterday I made lentil bread. It was lovely.
Are you serious?
No flour, no sugar. It was like cake. And Oga likes to snack in the night. So it was like, any chop day. Do you have all this your keto stuff? This diet, I'm suffering. No. I said, I have lentil bread for
And then he tried it out.
We sat down with our keto mayonnaise and finished a loaf of lentil bread by 10 p.m. last night.
Wow.
So you can eat as much as you want as long as you're not doing the carbs. It helps you work on your weight, and I'm really seeing results. So unfortunately, my PA was sleeping. I didn't wake her to do the video, but I'm going to do the lentil bread again because I think we finished a loaf, so it's just a loaf left. I'll do another one tomorrow. I also want to try it with pancakes.
Okay.
Do pancakes, do
the
wraps,
lentil pancakes.
lentil pancakes, wraps, quinoa wraps, all those things. Just healthy eating, and I'm feeling
It's interesting. I have eaten everything I should not eat on my trip, but I would get back. It was beautiful. Glory to God. I am counting down to the conference. So I have a conference I put together, the Game of Money conference, and there is a registration fee. It's not free. I did it free last year. And I just felt like this year we couldn't provide food and stuff. So this year I wanted to provide food, provide drinks and swag bags. So it's paid for, but it's loaded. And I feel that if anybody wants to understand the Game of Money, because whether you know it or not, you're playing the game and you might be playing it to lose when you can be playing it to win. Register. Go to the link in my bio on Instagram or Facebook and register for the Game of Money. I'm also gathering money for the 40 IVF. Yes. So every day, what I see there, when the foundation gets their last, they send to me. I'm so grateful. The 100K, the 1 million, a very close friend of mine sent 500K. I'm like, I like, those emojis you open your eye. Like, I didn't think she would do so, but thank you. Every kobo you contribute to the IVF fund is putting a smile on the faces of someone out there who would now have opportunities for IVF that they couldn't afford before. So it's Friday. We're going to have fun. Mind my quick updates. When we return from the break, we'll go through the newspapers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So we're starting our front page review with The Nation. Major headline: Damagum, Delta defections shocking, painful to PDP. More governors to join APC, says Ganduje, as party chair receives NNPP senator others. A beautiful picture of Sanwo-Olu at Harvard. Lagos is investors' delight. In other news, 170 nations delegation for Pope Francis' funeral. Doctor said he died without suffering. NEC defers discussions on state police. Governors Oketech-driven security approach. Court okays arrest warrant for 6 CBEX scam suspects. Edu projects more cash. Crude from NNPCL. I remain Labour Party's chairman, Abure insists, while 80% of FIRS jobs to be performed by employees, says at DDG. What news are we starting with? There was also another news, lecturer fired for sexual harassment.
Okay, so that's the news I wanted to take.
Okay.
So the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, ATB in Bauchi, has suspended a lecturer for sexual harassment. In fact, sacked him. He was, after investigation, found guilty of this. The decision was followed by a petition filed by the victim herself, a married woman, Mrs. Kamila Rufai Aliyu. Sadly, same surname, both of them. The lecturer's name is also Dr. Usman Muhammadu Aliyu, and she is a master's in engineering student, and she had the chemical engineering program in his faculty, and so he started to harass her, send her messages. She initially turned down his offers because she's married, claiming she's married, and he continued even though she presented her marriage. So she went to her husband with his harassment, showed all the evidence, his WhatsApp messages, and so they took it up by petitioning the school, and the lecturer filed a defamation suit against her and her husband that they were accusing him falsely, whereas evidence,
they had evidence.
And so the petitioner, the school, after finding him guilty of it, following her evidences, has suspended him. She is taking some courses under him, where he has also promised that she would not pass those courses because she resisted his advances. And so
the audacity.
That's the threats were many, messages, in calls, and all of that, and she had
all of them
saved evidences.
Fantastic. I'm happy that she got evidence and justice has been served.
Increased telecom tariffs and inconsistent quality service. That's a problem in Nigeria. We remember in January this year, the Nigerian Communications Commission, they agreed for the increment of our telecoms tariffs to the tune of 50%. And in February this same year, 11th, it was agreed that our tariffs can be raised. And after then, they said 4 months later, people are still grappling with poor service delivery. The reason this increment was allowed was for better service delivery by telecommunication companies. But so far, so good. They said the telecommunication companies, they've been grappling with good network and all that. We've been suffering bad networks, and sometimes you subscribe. People are saying they subscribe for data, and the next few days or the next few hours is gone. So people are losing money because of poor network. You just see network downtimes and then there's no explanation, no compensation. Businesses are struggling. People are losing monies because of this poor service delivery. And Nigerians are not asking for too much. You said you're going to increase. They've accepted this increment. So give us the service we are paying for, because I don't see myself. I used to do 6.5 data service. I have a Wi-Fi at home, so I just do the 6.5 data so that when I go out like this, I have something to work with. 6.5 used to be for 3 weeks. Now I use it for 5 days.
Wow. So there's something.
I did 6.5 twice in 2 weeks. That's 13. I had to do 11,000 for 35 gigs. So in a month, I'm spending 23 on Wi-Fi, and you're spending over 20 for data, and you're not even seeing, because sometimes you want. Yes. Sometimes you want to send messages and you can't even access. It's so crazy.
So this one is not just newspaper review. This is newspaper review plus
personal experience review. So I have a story here about the NEC meeting that happened yesterday.
Okay.
They said proponents of state police as a solution to upsurge insecurity were disappointed yesterday by the National Economic Council, that's NEC. They said the council, chaired by the vice president with governors as members, had listed the issue of state policing, but they did not discuss it. They said that the state policing was part of their agenda, but unfortunately, because of time demands, they were not able to. The presentation took a lot of time, so they were not able to get to that bit. This was according to the Bayelsa State Government, Duoye Diri, who was talking to reporters after the meeting. But he said, I can assure you that in our next meeting, the issue will be exhaustively discussed. They said last year, NEC had requested the governors to indicate whether or not they subscribe to state policing. And at NEC in December, the meeting they had in December, it was announced that all the 36 governors and the Federal Capital Territory Minister had agreed to the idea. Now, the issue was not listed for discussion when they resumed in February this year. It was also not discussed yesterday. So we don't know when they are going to have another NEC meeting to probably highlight the issue. But they talked about every other thing, agriculture, food security. They also talked about the fact that they are going to use a lot of modernization for agriculture and, insecurity as well.
All right, so I have the story about Cibex. I just left people briefly, and they scammed you people of $1 billion. All right, so update is that 6 people will be arrested and detained. The Justice Emeka Nweti has issued the order for the EFCC to, after the Council of EFCC made the move, and it's going to, these people affected are Adefowora Olanipekun, Adefowora Oluwanishola, at Emmanuel Oko, Sheyi Oloyede, Oweso Otorodo, and Chukwebuka Erim. These people were connected with the CBEX platform that promised ridiculously high, they say extraordinarily high returns, with some guarantees reaching up to 100% in returns of investments, and they were able to defraud Nigerians of $1 billion. But now they are going to be facing the law. They said they'll be arrested and detained pending the investigation. So we look forward to how that plays out. I don't know if those people, if those that lost their money, will to get their money back though, because
from who?
Moving on to Vanguard, major headline: Obowore, others defection. We're not bothered. Labour Party, PDP, Atiku's coalition. 2027 between APC Nigerians, says PDP. In other news, we have why security challenges must be tackled now from governors. They set up committee to work with security heads. Air Peace resumes operation as NIMET workers strike has been suspended. More Nigerians become poor by 2027 according to World Bank.
God forbid.
Amen. NEC okays new textile board, $90 billion agribusiness livestock development plan. 50 head of states, 10 monarchs for Pope's burial, says Vatican. And erratic power. Manufacturers spending on alternative energy surges by 42% to 1.1 trillion naira. Okay, so what are we taking first?
I could do the insecurity.
Okay.
So they said, we know that there have been killings in Plateau and Benue States and other parts of the country recently by herdsmen, and so worried by the worsening state of insecurity caused by increasing crime rates, banditry, kidnapping, and destruction of property across the country, the Nigerian Governors Forum yesterday tasked the security agencies to confront the challenges, security challenges, directly and they were asked also to set up a subcommittee to work with the heads of security agencies. So they had an extensive National Executive Council meeting session yesterday in Abuja, and they supported the Chief of Defense Staff, his innovative security initiative that will now be designed to strengthen national and subnational capacity for early threat detection and coordinated response. So they mentioned all the people that were in attendance at the meeting. I can't go through everyone now, but the governors, many of the governors were there, the air marshals were there, is a lot, plenty of them, yes. But they are talking about the fact that they need to coordinate themselves, they need to work together. This initiative will now begin to find, the importance of technology-driven solutions in addressing the security challenges at the state level, at different state levels. So you go back and discuss on how you want to use technology to, sort out the issues of insecurity in your particular state. So I think after a while, the committee will have to come together with what they had, come up with, and let's see how that translates to ending these herdsmen killing across the states. We want to, it's not just for us to have meetings, because we've been having these meetings from time to time. The security agencies will just gather themselves, they're upset, we cry out for this, we are not going to stop this. After a while, we go back to the same. So now that they are going to be deploying technology, I don't know how they're going to work that out. We want, after a while, that we start seeing
improvements, statistically,
solutions,
statistics showing improvements.
Yes, that's what they have used from their meeting is what has helped insecurity to stop across the states.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with Front Page Review. Stay with us. Be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regular.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
Yeah, that's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, And number 1, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musiki.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So we're still reviewing the papers, and in Vanguard we have
NEC OK's new textile board, a 90 billion agribusiness livestock development plan, $90 billion agribusiness livestock development plan. So NEC, chaired by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, yesterday approved the establishment of a cotton, textile and garment development board alongside new strategies for agribusiness expansion, livestock transformation, projected to generate up to 90 billion in the economy value by 2035. And I'm so positive about it. I met a cotton farmer. This woman only had go and sit somewhere in the southwest farming cotton. I thought that business had died in Nigeria. And so I'm positive that if we can do that, we'll get back this our fabrics that we're looking at. But this approval is, of course, as they said, to reposition our economy and to position us, to tap into that market. They also looked at other areas of the business, of the agribusiness, and there's a regulatory body for cotton, textile and garment sector of Nigeria. This board will have, a lot of work to do. They have representatives of the governors from the 6 geopolitical zones in the meeting yesterday. Ministers of Agriculture, Food and Security, Budget and Economic Planning were all there. They set up this board and will be domiciled in the presidency, private sector driven, and it will have with representation in the relevant public sector and stakeholders, funded from the textile import levy being collected by the Nigerian Customs.
I like the structure of the funding
and the
from
funding,
import levy.
yes, from import levy,
with
because
the goal to support local
that's
production.
what is suffering.
Yeah.
That's what is the evil that is harming us right now economically. Our fabrics, our even indigenous fabrics are being imported.
Yes.
So with this positioning, let there be deliberate.
Poland, Indonesia,
let it not be as I
India.
read it today, finish today, the excitement. Let the excitement come with, actualization.
Before I come to you, Abigail, let me take the story about the Pope's burial. They've confirmed that they'll be having 130 foreign delegations, including 50 heads of state, as well as 10 monarchs that will be attending the Pope's funeral. Say that they've had 61,000 monarchs pay respect. The queue is long. They said there's a long wait period before people are able to pay their respect, but still, what they are expecting that the burial is going to be a really grand one, obviously with the number of dignitaries that are coming. There's a lot of backlash concerning the Pope, good and bad, but at the end of the day, he's an institution, or he represents an institution, and so all the respect that goes to the institution will go to him concerning the burial. So, Abigail.
Oh, yeah, so presently, the World Bank has said more Nigerians will become poor by 2027. I know a lot of persons will be saying, God forbid.
God forbid.
But the Bible said you always have the poor among you. So just try to work not to be one of them. So we see that world over, Nigerians contribute to 15% of the poverty index of the world. So if you're talking about the poor states in the world, Nigeria is contributing like 15%. And sub-Saharan Africa is contributing like 80% of the poor. So the World Bank has said that our total reliance on resource-rich components will not let us see progress, economic progress. And even though the last quarter of 2024 we saw notable increase and growth in economy, that in 5 years' time we are not going to be, there will be a lot of poor people in Nigeria. That's what they said. According to them, they said the report indicates that poverty rates in resource-rich, fragile countries, including Nigeria, are expected to increase by 3.6. Presently, according to reports, 106 million Nigerians are really, really poor. And it means that 13 million more Nigerians are going to join this index. And we know that as it is in Nigeria, there's no middle class anymore. It's either you're rich or you're poor. So in 2027, they're saying you should brace up. But whose report will you believe?
I will believe the report of the Lord. You know the sisters of the Lord. Yeah.
I actually wish that when we get reports like this, we will try to do something about it.
I think there's a lot being done. A lot usually, because even I think I was going to take a story from the Minister for coordinating Minister for Economy. They are aware, and we shouldn't expect that they're not aware and they're not doing anything about it. Because for it to make it to papers, it means that our leaders are aware of what is going on and they know that this is the metrics. They should use the data to work. Let's move on to our final paper for today. Nigerian Tribune major headline: 2027 won't be decided by the number of governors. That's from PDP. They are shrugging off the fact that the Delta and the mass defection that has taken place. Rivers, again, Ibas absent at the reps panel. Gunmen abduct 14 passengers in Benue. Q1 2025. UBA profit rises by 30.65% to 204 billion naira. Despite worsening insecurity, NEC again defers talk on state policing. And Sanwo-Olu comes up with the fact that Lagos is investors' delight while he was speaking at Harvard. Alleged $1 billion scam. The court permits EFCC to arrest, detain 6 over CBEX. Military killed 1,770 terrorists and arrested 3,073 in 3 years across the northwestern states. Labour Party crisis. Again, Abure calls out OTOB for misinterpreting Supreme Court judgment. So, what are we doing?
Let me do Lagos. So, the governor of Lagos was blowing his trumpet himself at his horns at Harvard
they said
business school. So he was a guest of the Professor Akim Bello Sage. I didn't know Akim Bello Sage, the foremost investment banker, is lecturing at Harvard. You know, so he was his guest, and in his class he was talking about Lagos, and he blew away well. Say with a GDP of 259 billion, a population of 25 million, 4 seaports, friendly government policies, Lagos is an investor's delight. So he went on and on talking about the blue rail, the red rail. He talked about the seaports. He talked about the schools, the hospitals. He says every investor here,
Lagos is
Abundance
working.
Day. Lagos is working. And he says that because of their friendly policies, and then he went on to talk about the tourism potential of Lagos, all that happened last year, towards the end of the year. He blew the trumpet.
He has evidence.
He's the brand ambassador. And the class at the end of the day, they applauded because he couldn't
Where's the lie? There's no lie there.
Who has the story of what military is doing or government? Okay, the government.
Okay, government adopt 14 passengers in Benue. No fewer than 14 passengers were reported to have been kidnapped along Makurdi Naka Doka Road. That area of Benue State. This happened on Thursday, that's yesterday. And a commercial driver who pleaded anonymity said this happened between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. And passengers were kidnapped and taken into the forest, and they say vehicles, like they were going for picnic, according to the conversation. There's a bus load of 14 passengers and another one, and they kidnapped 12 passengers. And that reminds me of when one of my riders, he came back, he's from Kogi, he just told me that there's a certain place in Idoma that you can't ply that road from 6 p.m. because if you ply that road between 6 and 10, you'll be kidnapped. And as a matter of fact, like 3 buses were kidnapped until now. Yeah, with the driver shot. So sad. This insecurity matter, it's a lot.
Yeah, so there's a story I took inside by Courtney Aviation Services Limited, Basel, the operator of Murtala Mohammed Airport in Terminal 2, that's MMA 2, has reiterated its zero tolerance policy against violence within the terminal premises. So this came after an incident happened where an aviation security officer was physically assaulted by a male passenger last Sunday. He said the altercation occurred during a disturbance at the check-in counter of one of the airlines operating from MME2, and they said this happened as a result of system error. So the incident had also mirrored something that had happened earlier in December 2024, where they assaulted the people on duty. So the management has condemned the act and emphasized that violence against any staff member or service provider at MMA2 will no longer be condoned. The offending officer has been handed to the police for further investigation and necessary legal action, and the Basil has vowed to ensure a follow-up on the case to ensure justice is served. I think Nigerians need to control a bit more of their temper. If something is going wrong, you need to talk to somebody, find the right officials to talk to. The people who are working in those sectors also need proper training on customer service and relations.
They are the lowest in the...
but
the real guys that make the decision are not the ones.
But everybody needs to be trained in such a way that when something is going wrong, kindly come out and explain that this is what is going wrong. Please give us a little time. We're sorting it. They won't say anything. You leave Nigerians hanging around. So those ones also, because of their temper, we get upset and start harassing people. So we need to work together. While we are holding our temper, you say, come and explain. If this kind of thing happens, you see somebody constantly
talk about my delay. They delayed.
Oh, they delayed you. They didn't compensate you.
I was compensated.
That's what we're talking about.
My voice came down. I was compensated though, but we were delayed. You know, it was
delay
a really
happen.
Major delay.
It's how you handle it.
Yes, and my bag was.
And information was properly communicated,
yes,
right?
Yeah. But my bag has also been. They have put compensation for my bag.
Before.
So that's the thing. That's the difference between what happens here and there. Anyway, that's what we can take on front page review for today. We have juicy hot topics, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam result.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam result.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
Yeah, that's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Oftentimes in this part of the world, we regularly hear the following lines. If not for marriage, I would have been. If not for marriage, I would have achieved this. I would have attained this height. If not for motherhood, I would have been at the top of the echelon of the society. I had to sacrifice my ambitions, my goals, my marriage. I gave it up for marriage, everything up for family. So on this segment, we want to look at some of the examples, the factors and the limitations involved. Is it true that marriage limits people? Is it possible for one to be married and still attain his or her life's dreams? Are substantial sacrifices like this inevitable? How can partners support each other to grow and develop to attain fulfillment personally? You can join us on the conversation by calling us on 020-163-520-013 or 090-2416-3440. The numbers are right there on your screen. Tweet to us at X. Hashtag YourViewTVC so we can hear from you. We are also streaming live on YouTube where we can take your comments as well. So I saw a video just yesterday similar to this one about the husband and wife about to run. And then the husband was carrying like 3 children and the wife wasn't carrying anybody. And so they just blew the whistle and they tried running. And the woman, pew, and the husband couldn't run because of course he was carrying 3 children, and then one shoe fell and he had to slow down. And he said this is a physical depiction of what happens to women when they have to handle children, marriage, and expecting them to run at the same pace. But is this true? Because we are all ladies on this show flying high. So sometimes it might seem like, what are we saying? Is it true that you make sacrifices for marriage to work? Is it true that sometimes women sacrifice their ambition for their marriage to be successful?
So life is about sacrifices, compromises, you know. You can't just be smile all life. Life is cry, smile, beautiful times, sad times. And those things gather together to fulfill you. Well, to now make it about your fulfillment to just one aspect of life is why this conversation even comes up at all. That you say, I gave up this for this. You must give up something for something. Yeah. We gave up our playtime to go to school. Sure. If they leave me, I foresee the road for that hill where I like place at, you know. We gave up things to be here. We put in work to have one. So to now look after you have one and look back and think, oh, I didn't have the other. It's almost like some people are lucky they have it all. With a good support system, you can actually have it all. But sometimes we've had MDs of banks. We had our women we love, 2 MDs, and they said something gave. Something. One was talking about how her first child had to be the one who carried the burden, and that she's now in the journey of trying to compensate her first child. And so I don't like when that conversation is had about, I gave up something. When you are where you are at part-time, reflect on the good that has come eventually. To think, oh, I gave up marriage I gave up my life, my career for marriage. If marriage was the blessing, would your career would it have been enough that you had your career and you didn't have it? You want it all. And so one thing might come not exactly proportionate to how the other one goes. So if you're giving 90% of your career and you have 10% of your marriage, is that fulfillment at the end of the day? Wherever you are, I think that reflection should be about gratitude of where you are part-time, not what you have missed at a time. This conversation of I gave up. Imagine that you had kids and you're now telling your kids, oh, I raised you, giving up something for you. Were you not going to raise them anyway? Were you not going to be there for them? Did you bond them to come and be competing with them? Or what about resources?
Anyway, I'll come back to you. Let me hear from
Okay, so for me, I feel like we shouldn't be very solid when we are creating dreams, when we are thinking about the dreams that we want to fulfill in life. Because you know what they say, man proposes but God disposes. I also feel that dreams should be like Android systems, and where you have to update your OS and all that, you know, update to the next level. So I feel like sometimes we talk about our dreams and we think about our dreams from the standpoint where we are, our present standpoint. But as we progress in life, as we move forward, we see the need to adjust or to do certain adjustments to our dreams. Let's say, for instance, when I was growing up, I said I wanted to be a lawyer. But today I'm a broadcaster. I'm a broadcaster.
She went to study law and she's a broadcaster.
You see? So, you know, our dreams are made by certain disruptions, interferences, and zeal and desire to either push forward or maybe reevaluate. So I also feel that people shouldn't be pressured into saying, okay, I want to be, okay, I must be this, forgetting the present reality. For instance, now, you can say, I want to be I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor at 25, and maybe before 25 you fall in love and then you get pregnant and you have to get married, and at the end of the day you're not the doctor at 25. We've seen people graduate at 60 and at 50. We've seen people train up their children, finish their own line of raising a family before achieving their dreams. So I feel the reason we are talking about I'm supposed to have been this and I didn't do this is because of the pressure, unnecessary pressure we put on ourselves. As I said, expectations bring about pressure. The expectation might be from you or from the people you're saying, we were classmates, so this person now is now the governor's wife, or this person, I'm supposed to have been this, so if not for this. People have different pathways. What are you encountering on your road to achieving your goal? That's what's most important. It's not the goal that you've already put. Sometimes you can say, okay, this is my goal I want to achieve, but what is best for you is the other goal you're experiencing at the moment. So I actually feel that we shouldn't, how do I even put it now? We shouldn't actually be stuck in our ways to say, okay, this is the dream and it has to be this dream at a particular time.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah. For me, I don't see those things as sacrifices. I see them as life choices according to the priority you have placed on each one. Everybody has a checklist, right? So you may want to be a medical doctor, but in your checklist, the first there is marriage and family. The medical doctor comes next.
Scale of
now, when you now choose to, okay, let me focus because of the resources that I have available to me, the time frame and everything, let me focus on raising my family first. It doesn't mean that you have failed or that you sacrificed. You chose to focus on that first because it met a need at the time. So don't come out and say, I sacrificed. That sacrifice you called it was fulfilling a need at that time. You were doing something for somebody or for your children or for your, but it was also meeting a need that you had to be the best mother you could be at that time. So don't look around and call it I sacrificed this one. You chose it because there are people who have been put in your particular position, but we choose to, I don't care about the family and the children, let me go for my career. They choose that one as well. So they should also look back and say, if not for this career now, maybe I would have been married and I would have had children. You have made a choice that met a need at that time. So stick to it and be grateful. I like that word that Nima used. Be grateful for where you are. Now, what I see is, I just need people to understand, first of all, that there is no time frame for destiny. We are always looking at the other side. It's always greener at the other side. Hey, see Tokwe now. Tokwe is now a high flyer. Maybe I should have been doing what she's doing. You are forgetting that you are where you are, doing what you are meant to be doing at the time that you are meant to be doing it. So the only thing that would save you from regrets and looking back and looking at another person is to understand that you are where you are where you are meant to be at the time that you are in. If you are not meant to be here, you will not be here. The universe is not crazy. If you are not meant to be doing what you're doing, you will not be doing what you're doing. So every time that you have, look back and be grateful that, oh, okay, I was able to do this. Okay, now it's time to do this. Like she rightly said, we have seen people who, after raising their children, they went back. Nothing is stopping you from going back to school. Nothing is stopping you from chasing the career. But nothing is stopping you from doing the things you need to do. And if there's no opportunity that society has created for that, you create your own platform. I always say it. You create your own opportunity. So if I had missed out on, let's say, beauty pageantry, right? You know, I did it as a young girl. Maybe I wanted to do it, but I didn't have an opportunity to do it. Maybe I got married and everything. And now I get to a point where I'm now missing, hey, I should have done, instead of me sitting down to be asking myself, I should have done, hey, I wish I did. I will create Mrs. Nigeria, Mrs. Married Woman, Nigeria. Yes, and I will do it. And people that are looking forward to doing things like that will buy into it and will do it together. So it's about taking everything with gratitude and looking out for the opportunities to, you can still do what you can do as long as you have life, you have breath, you have strength, you can do whatever and achieve whatever you want to do at any age.
I love the perspective that I'm hearing on this table. I love the idea of gratitude. I love the idea of taking it as it comes. Personally, I believe in the power of setting goals. I believe in the power of pushing the boundaries. And I really think that we haven't answered the question of if it is possible to be married and still attain life's dreams and ambition. Because that is the real question. It is that. Is it possible? Yourself. Let's take a break. When we return, we'll continue with practical ways to make this thing work. We already started with that, so we'll continue on it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jammies. So
My 220 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jammies.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show, you for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, #1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for #1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now. His name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym to get fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
Yeah, pole dancer
pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make a relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they're for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You see some spoils.
That woman.
Damn! Yeah,
Today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's catch up.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Get ready to step into the heartbeat of your city like never before. Welcome to Events Diary, where every moment is a celebration.
From the electric energy of Owambe extravaganza to the richness of our culture to the sophistication of corporate gatherings, Event Diary is your VIP pass.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. So we'll be discussing about the sacrifices that both men and women make in the journey of parenthood. And while we are, as women, would look at it from the perspective of the sacrifices women make, there are also sacrifices being made by men.
Of course.
I remember there was a time that I had to remind my husband, like buy yourself clothes, you know, because like every cash that comes in for him goes into us, you know, the family, the children. It was a case of like, take care of yourself, you know, like you can actually buy some things for yourself. Just a reminder, because the thought of the man is, my job is to be responsible. I can only take care of myself out of the surplus and abundance I have gotten. Yes, it is when my children look fine, my house is okay, before I can now start thinking of, okay, what am I going to do for myself? But going back to the question I asked before we went on the break, and I love the perspective in which BC was already directing us, which is, how do we empower ourselves to live our life and be fulfilled despite the fact that we are making seasonal sacrifice? And what can cause people to find regrets even when they should be joyful about the sacrifices that they have made? Nima.
Okay.
I think that second one is going to be personal, because like, how can somebody regret? Like, you should be happy. I have children, but what can make that person, what can trigger regrets even after you have seen the
ingratitude? So God forbid that, you know, the sacrifices that we've made are not appreciated. Even in relationships, as if the other person, you think, oh, let me give up all of this so that we would, you know, God forbid we have ungrateful people. Even our people say, God forbid picking, we're not pitying mama, because of the sacrifices that we give per time. And it's important that the people who are receiving this consider it a worthy sacrifice, knowing it. So that's why they say, tell your story to your children. Explain, give them. Say, I for day London, no. Now London money I share. I can go London. I for day this is because of this and this and this. I'm not being selfish. I for do that and that and that. So that people know it. You know, sometimes in those days, our parents give up life for us. When we now get there and we say, Baba, I need to focus on me, because somebody has just said, you know, it has to be me first. And the father looking at you that, you first, bow. You know, that's where the unfulfillment comes. A wholesome
when ingratitude faces your sacrifice.
Yes.
Let me take this call from Solomon. Yes, called in from Abulegba. Welcome to the show. Good morning. Hello, Solomon. Are you still there?
Yeah, I only want to contribute my own to the ongoing issue. You see, like somebody feel he has forfeited his or her marriage for one thing or the other. It's not the issue, because in the Bible agrees that there is time for everything being done on earth. And with a proper planning, if you plan yourself and your time with whatever you want to do, you will do it at the right time. Most especially if you put it in prayer, you will at time. But what really matters is that you say when tree fall upon tree, you first hold the one of top so that you can bring out the one under the tree. So there is a time for everything, and you do everything according to your time. That's why I supported the idea of BC of Yulumi. He said and Auntie Abigail. No, marriage is not. They don't force somebody into marriage. It gives his or her time, except in the north where they used to give out children for money. But under proper planning, you can only marry when you want to marry at the right time. Thank you. That is my own contribution.
Thank you so much. You know this thing of time for everything, but there are times when some things have passed. There's time for everything, but there are times when this thing that you could have done, you can't do it because the time has passed. It's like when you see videos on Instagram where very, very old couples are now traveling. They like travel when you are young, when it's sweeter. Not that you are now sleeping off inside the cruise, or because you can't really like. They say when you wake up is your morning, but if you wake up at night, you will not see sun. No, but there will be no sunlight.
But you agree that it's not. You agree that it's not everything in life that you achieve. Yeah. So long as you're human, you can't achieve everything you possibly need or want. It comes as nature and universe gives you. So there's something I want to say. I would like to say that first of all, you have to know your dreams. Hold on to your dreams first. Be clear about your dreams. We know that there are pathways to achieving your goals. Once you get to that path and you feel, okay, should I shade it? Should I update it? You cannot come back to that conversation. When you get to the bridge, you cross it. But one thing I want to also say is getting the right support system is very, very important. Some women are where they are and they are doing great things because of the support systems they have. Sure. They have husbands, they have fathers, they have mentors who have said, yes, go for it. I'm standing by you. It means that if you have to write an exam the next morning and you just had a child, your husband can say, sleep on you, or go and read. And then he takes care of the child. You're going to school the next morning, he's taking care of the child while you're going there. Some men will tell you, your work is to be in the kitchen. I don't care what education you want to go and do. No, you have to pound yam for me. We have people like that. And it's not just for the women. Men and women. They face these things are like a man will want to exceed and say your wife is nagging you out, you can't concentrate in the house, you don't have peace of mind, you can't excel at work because of the kind of house, the kind of hell you come back to at home. So I want to say the right support system. Now, I feel like, as I said, on our way to achieving our dreams, there are certain things we see and there are certain important decisions we make that will either lead us to achieving those dreams or shading them. Let me use, for instance, there's this guy I was almost married to. I just had my first degree. I wanted to go for my master's, and he just had his first degree. And the next thing he says is, why will you go for master's? I will go before you. Nobody needed to tell me that.
Competition.
Do you want to get to this dream? Then this is not who you need. Do you understand? So I had to shade that aspect of life to achieve what I want to achieve. Let me
It's important to see the flag as it's waving red. Let me take Peter. Welcome to the show. Good morning. Peter from Benue.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Good. Yeah, I want to contribute to could someone sacrifice her dream on the basis of marriage? I certainly do not agree be on the basis of marriage. Shouldn't be on the basis of marriage.
It shouldn't be on the basis of marriage.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I've seen maybe especially women sacrifice their dreams for marriage. She's supported someone.
The line is not so clear. I can't really hear. So sorry, Mr. Peter. He said sacrifices shouldn't be made on the basis of marriage.
That's why we didn't put it like that.
Yes,
we said his life.
Yeah. No, but the truth is, sacrifices can be made on the basis of marriage. Because if you've gotten married, the people that marry are we like it when we hear that somebody married and they relocated abroad. You know, it sounds like, but so it's still.
And again, the marriage
choice. I made a sacrifice. If you decide married, if I'm married to you and you get a job, that is meaning that I need to leave where we are staying and go to where we are. I was on a conversation with somebody that in the US, and the person was like, 5 years ago my husband said, no, 6 years ago my husband said we should move to Canada. We moved. 2 years ago now he said we should go to America. I'm like, I keep moving. I keep moving because he said we should move, and I realized that it's
and you chose to move.
So if I don't move, I'm losing my marriage. So you have to move.
You see that takes you back to the beginning. So you don't want to lose your marriage because the marriage is fulfilling something. And so you choose to move.
Exactly.
So that you can get that fulfillment that marriage is giving you. It's not so much of a sacrifice. I want us to just explain it that
way.
So it makes it easy for people to not to just sit back and say, after everything I did for you. You did for me for a reason.
They asked you to do it.
They didn't ask you to do it, they asked you to do it. But you chose to do it because there are people in that space who will still not do it.
Satisfy something in you.
There are people in that space who will still not do it, right? But you chose to do it because of the fulfillment that is before you.
Acknowledge your choice. Always make a choice. Don't be compelled.
And be grateful. That's why you don't start looking at it like I now sacrifice. I miss out.
So there's something I want to ask me. Sorry,
okay, yeah, go ahead.
You can't ask me to do something for you and think I did it just for you. You are important to me if I choose to do it for you.
Yes.
But that you're coming out of your own, just come and say, okay, auntie, I did what I. That's not how it works.
Some people are being compelled.
Some of us rationalize things.
People are being compelled
because they want to be compelled.
Then in marriages,
that is not a choice.
Some marriages they are compelling. I've read a story. This one I even like. I know the person that wrote it.
They're tired.
That they told. She was told to resign. Like leave the job. She was told to resign.
Okay, so what happened to her choice?
In order to remain in her job, she left the marriage. Okay. So that one thing had to go.
Yes.
So when you said
she choose well. So when she choose well because that compelling her to resign. Yes. For what? Are they sitting together and processing the thing and seeing which one is more important? So if, for instance, this is your job now, this is what I mean, this is what I mean, you are the best, you are the highest earner between myself and my husband, and for the sake of the children, something has to go. This is what we are going to do later. No, that one is not compelling. We are not processing it. I will gladly choose my kids
go through that
so
process.
that my husband can focus and provide.
If they don't go through that process,
yes,
we have
but if he comes and says it is you, go and resign that
job. That's why you need this marriage support system.
If you stay in that marriage, he will still not fulfill you. To use that as a weapon to have
Can I answer the question you asked initially, which is married people, men or women now?
Is it possible to achieve their dreams?
Is it possible to achieve, yes, their dreams when they are married? It's super possible, and we are living examples of achieving our dreams when we are married, right? While we're still in the marriage. However, there are certain things that you must check, and I like the example you gave. If you marry wrong, it will truncate your destiny. And you have opportunities to check whether this is wrong or right. Unfortunately, we close our eyes when we are dating and open it in marriage. You are supposed to open your eye while you are dating, then close one in marriage. That's the right thing, because you must see things that you are not supposed to see. No matter how sweet the marriage is, you will see things that sometimes you have to just like, are you sure? But because you have done the right checks in the beginning, some of the things you now see in the marriage are not, they are lesser evils that you can deal with. The main work is before you do the marriage. So imagine you had married somebody who was ready to compete with you now. I must do masters first before you. I have more degrees than my husband. I'm the scholar in the house. The other day was like, auntie, only you are this, you're that, you're that. Me, I'm just here with how many.
And he's okay with it.
And he's okay.
He's not threatened.
You know, he wasn't threatened at all. He was just teasing me that, auntie, tomorrow night, come and tell me you want to go to another school. I say, yes, I'm still looking for the one I want to go to, right? Imagine me marrying somebody who will see it as competition. So why are you getting it before me? You see it in the relationship. You ignore, you enter. Then in marriage, you are complaining that it's not letting me shine. It's not he did not let you shine in the relationship. So why did you enter? Which magic do you want to do? So you can truncate your destiny if you marry wrong. Knowingly, if you marry wrong. Now, if you marry right, there are compromises that you will make. First of all, I chose to be a classroom teacher. I got a job in the bank when I finished NYSC, UBA. And he was already in the bank. And I said, two of us will be coming back late. Why don't I take a job that would give me time to nurture my kids? And so I got into teaching. And my kids were with me. I would take a break from classroom. I'll go and breastfeed. I'll come back. With all these sort of dreams I had, many people did not understand why I chose to teach. My friends were laughing at me that, after all this way you finish, now classroom teacher I end up. But I had a goal, I had a vision. And I knew that the person I was with, anytime I wake up and say I want to fly, he will support me. But now, let me nurture these kids to a certain level. And that's where many women find themselves, because something must give at the time that you're nurturing, except you're not a nurturer. Something must give. The bank MDs that come here and tell us, they will tell you at some point they had to suspend their career because they wanted to bond with their children. And when that time is over, you go back and find your way. Nobody is stopping you from going back and finding your way. So you sitting down and not saying, because I missed out at that time, it's over for me. It's where the problem
is. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll discuss more about sacrifices that are not involved in marriage. You know, when we make... Sometimes we call it sacrifice because we don't want to acknowledge the decisions
that is our
made.
choice.
It's our choice. And so it's easy to say, I made the sacrifice for you. But actually you made a decision. You made a decision yourself, and you have to be willing to deal with the consequences of that decision. We also make decisions when it comes to our everyday life in the office, corporate world, making a choice to do this job or stay in that work or changing career paths. And we'll discuss all those when we return from the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The hottest gatherings in Nigeria. And guess what? I'll be your guide, your style icon. Each week, join me as I transform from traditional chic to corporate sleek. Whether it's a birthday bash or a high-profile gala, you won't just see it. You'll feel like you're right there with me. Aww. From meetings to evening soirees, I'll be there. Or to the trendiest street festivals or to music concerts, Events Diary has something for everyone. So join me as we explore the vibrant tapestry of Nigerian scene, one event at a time.
Brand new studio, brand new set, a new face, but still your favorite breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria.
It's a fresh new energy, new vibe. You smell that?
Now that's the smell of tasty, tantalizing food from our various chefs.
And when it comes to sports updates with insightful analysis, the place you want to be is Wake Up Nigeria.
That's right. Every second there's a fresh occurrence, and every minute there's a story to tell. Keep abreast of happening locally and internationally via the news updates of Wake Up Nigeria.
It's light camera fashion, where we strut, slay, and sashay, and keep you updated with all the latest fashion trends.
Level up your morning.
Watch Wake Up Nigeria, where every morning begins with a spark.
Hey, my people, I greet you plenty. My name is Nachika Okeke. My name is Uwi Balogun.
My name is Damilola Banire.
My name is Moyo Faraway Ahmed. If you also call me Moyo, listen. And this na Abigail. And I dare on top of your view pigeon. I'm going to bring you bass, boost. I don't get person will be single mother before. He carry another man show, say, now my husband be this.
Now what you want?
After that day, the man
you not go see him again.
If you snooze, you lose. If you miss this show, you miss out. On top this our show, I not dey gree for anybody.
When you dey friend the husband, you not see sign say the guy smart, you don't vex, don't give signs.
If they look for person we go give am to you, fact as it be. Men no dey ever get fault. If baby not dey for her, na the woman.
Talk no dey be person, you make person no fit talk true inside. But for this country, we not say if we open court in the morning, waiting no good, no good.
Me and my sisters, hey, we go tanda gidigba for inside studio to give una all the latest information.
We not even take responsibility for the children. Leave the man.
And that's some poria.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amaka Rakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Warhaka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an hijabite, and a lawyer.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So we'll still be discussing sacrifices that people are making, and I know, Abigail, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I wanted to say something regarding the dream. I will just end with that. Okay, so I feel like we can't be talking about dreams without talking about the SMART and SWOT analysis. It's making me feel like we are entering into the classroom, but it's something that has to go with the topic we are talking about. Okay. You know, I said you have a dream, that's a destination. You have pathway to your dream. So what do you do around those areas? I remember the SWOT analysis. They tell you that strength, weakness, opportunity, and your threat. Those things you can apply in your life. What's your strength? How do you exert your strength? What's your weakness? How do you tackle your weakness, your lows when you meet certain challenges? And then the opportunities available to you. Okay, you're having an opportunity to travel abroad to further your education, and then you're having the same opportunity to get married. Which will you choose? So you have the opportunities. And then what's your threat? Do you have who is the husband that you want to give up this one for? That is the thing, right? And then I'll just quickly, so we can conclude. The SMART, you know, your dreams have to be simple. It should be something that you cannot say I want to fly to the moon. You know it's not achievable. So it has to be something that is simple, that is measurable. If you take your pen and paper, are you able to say this is what I can achieve in 3 months, in 4 months because of what I have available to me? Is it achievable? And then is it realizable? Is it real? And then the time. I want to be married before 25. How far? Are you fine? Are you beautiful enough? What are the prospects? You know. So there are certain things that we'll put into perspective. I say, what I want to end with is, you need the right mindset. And then you have to learn to push your limits, because you can't be at one point for too long. If you've achieved, you see, some people see challenges and winnings as it gives them, I don't want to say or, you know, or something. So it gives them joy that they get to beat every limit or in the other room. So they beat the other room. I'm sorry. So they beat their limit. There's joy in knowing that, okay, I could push this cup to this point and my strength is failing me, and then tomorrow I'm coming and pushing it further. So we should learn to push beyond our limits, one step at a time, and then we should learn to update our lows when we are very low. Think about it. What did you not do right, and all that. So
amazing. Don't give us
let's end this classroom.
I'd like to have your final words.
Yes. So for me, it's we need to understand that gratitude is key, and we are where we are meant to be at every given time. You're not meant to be in another person's place. Your spot is in your place, and if you're not comfortable with that space, you have an opportunity to move. You're not a tree. Stand up and move. There's what they call among the laws of the universe, there's the law of action, and every action gets
equal reaction.
So when you keep putting in the action, one day it will pay off. That's another thing. Then finally, for me, we need to also understand that we can dream, but it's in the hands of the Almighty to manifest it and make it come to pass. And so it helps you not to be attached to the outcome. You have a dream to be so and so person. That may not be the dream that God wants you to have. That may just be like a stepping stone into the dream you are meant to have. But when you're holding on to it has to be this or I die, it becomes a problem. You are stuck when that thing does not come. Open your mind and ask, what am I learning in this situation? Why does this keep happening to me? Why is this not happening the way I want to? And your eyes can be open to see that this is just you passing through. This is not where I want you to stop. I'm still going to where you are supposed to be. Your open-mindedness is what is going to allow you to be grateful for where you are at every point, and then not attached to the outcome of I have to be A, it must be A, or I die. Open your heart, and you know, you'll find that at the end of the day, when you look back, when you count from hindsight, you'll be grateful that you had to go through all of those things you went through to be where you are today.
Yes, your sacrifices are your choices that you make. Own them. Be grateful for them, that you know you're already living answered prayers. With that mindset, you can go ahead and achieve more. If at that time you want to change them, start with the gratitude of where you are part-time, where you are, knowing that God has already answered your dreams and your prayers are before then, and ask for new things. He's always the Quran says is ever generous ever giving, ever forgiving, no limit to him. So continue and ask for more.
I really love our conversation today. I think that we did not just lament or whine about, we didn't take the regular angle to this conversation of saying, oh, women always make sacrifices, men always make sacrifices. I love the fact that we took this deeper and talk about the fact that every sacrifice is a choice. And you must acknowledge that you are making a choice. And when you are not grateful for the things that you have made sacrifices for in the moment, you will not be fulfilled. So a lot of the complaints on those conversations is coming from lack of fulfillment, and that's because you're not acknowledging the good things. Look at those children. If you sacrifice your children, look at your career. If you sacrificed marriage for your career, look at the career and say, I am shining here, you know. Whatever sacrifices you must have made, acknowledge it's your choice and be grateful for the opportunities that sacrifice gave you. I also feel like, I love what BC said when she said build your platform. There is no, I know, they say when you wake up is your morning. Even if the sun is no longer shining, it's still your morning. So step out and build that platform. The example about creating that platform. So build your, if you want to have a, I know someone that a show just got on African Magic. And she has done 20 years in HR. They started on YouTube 2 years ago that she always wanted to be on TV and that she couldn't do it. So now that she has done 18 years of HR, she wants to go on TV. And then she started with YouTube. And after 2 years of being on YouTube, she's on TV. So, and this is children are already in school. Everything like you said something about clarity of your goals. Get clear on your goals. Even if you don't do it in your 20s, you don't do it in your 30s, you don't do it in your 40s, you can clock 50 and say, this dream, I'm doing it now.
And it's sweeter when you're older.
Honestly, there's no limit to you. There's really no limit to you. Please dump the limitation. Be grateful for where you are and get clear and start achieving that goal that you have written for yourself. It's been an interesting segment, but we're going to go into another part of the conversation sort of linked to this. It is actually very sensitive because we're talking about jealousy and possessiveness in relationship. Yes, jealousy and possessiveness in relationships and marriage. Understanding that jealousy and possessiveness and what triggers these things. So we'll be looking at how lack of trust, communication, insecurity, past experiences, fear of loss can trigger jealousy. We'll also delve into how social media and societal expectations can also fuel jealousy. There are also real life examples of this story. You know, there are so many of it. And we'll be sharing tips on how effective communication can help deal with jealousy and possessiveness. Of course, we'd like you to call into the show. We'd like you to join the conversation. The numbers are right there on the screen, and we're also streaming on YouTube. We didn't take any comments on the previous topic. Can we quickly see if there are comments on the previous topic so that we talk about that before delving into this very, very juicy one?
Okay. Smart women on the show. This is coming from Aunt Nam. Moses Ade says, yes, because someone must have interest in your research and be willing to fund it. Okay, so I'm taking it from the middle.
Hafix Wall said, my friend is having this issue. Ever since she got a good job, her husband is angry with her. The marriage is almost breaking.
Okay, Hafsa says, I dreamt to be married at 23, but by then I didn't even have a suitor. Would I have married myself just to achieve that dream? Or force any man to come and marry me?
Yetunde Shonaiki said, Dr. Ibukun Awoshika is one of our lectures emphasized the need to study a man's character and not be married to a fool.
Okay, Shehu says, sacrificing your job, career, or financial goals for marriage should never be one-sided or forced. It should come from mutual understanding and long-term planning.
Exactly. Rolade Williams disagrees with the word choice and sacrifice. Says it's called sacrifice. Let's not trivialize it. Whatever choice we make or forgo is still sacrifice made. Let's call it what it is. Yorubas will say we do good so we can remind that person later.
Aunt Nam says people should stay in their lane when choosing a spouse. These women know the kind of men that they are going into this relationship with. They probably were hoping to change them.
All right, so there was something I didn't mention as I was rounding off, support system, and it was you that mentioned it, and I think it's very important.
Very key.
The only way that a successful relationship, if we tie to relationship, can thrive where sacrifices are made, where dreams are fulfilled, is where there is support system. I can do what I'm doing now because I have support system. We are all able to do what we're doing because we have support system. If you see anything working, it's because people are supporting it to make it work. You know, so let's support your own to make it work. Let's take a break. When we return, we'll go into the conversation on jealousy and protectiveness. We'll stay with us. We'll be right back. Possessiveness.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amakora Akwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Welcome to our hacker. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an hijabite, and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
I am Murayo Afolabi Brand, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of Your View are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share our views on topical and social issues.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers. Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyingo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call a permanent solution.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crumbs of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe is achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless. Amadedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
I'm Nifemi Oguntoye, news anchor with TVC News.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So now we want to discuss how one can navigate jealousy and possessiveness. It is a strong conversation to have because people dealing with insecure partners who are extremely possessive and easily get jealous they tend to, it tends to be something that weighs on the relationship, not just marriage, it weighs on the relationship. So we're hoping to give tools. You see, I have wise women here to give tools to help those going through this. And this happens to both men and women. Relationship with someone who is jealous can put a heavy strain on one's life, where you feel almost tempted to be reporting every situation back to back. I had to counsel a friend, a man, that I felt that he wasn't being sensitive to his wife's insecurities. And so I had a conversation and I told him, I said, see, you have married someone that is a bit insecure. You have to help her. And then the man started listing all the things he has done. The marriage is over now. But he listed all the things he has done, that I would always text her, I would send her messages, if I'm going out, I would post picture, I have to just over and over again, like, I'm with this guy. He said, which guy? I'll take picture with the guy and send to her, because she does not believe anything I say. And so it feels like I have done enough, and I can't change her. But I would like to hear from you, Nima. What tools would you want to give for someone who is in a relationship with a person who is jealous and possessive? Before, when we were young, we used to use jealousy as a sign of love.
Yeah. Jealousy is an element of love. You can. The Professor Islam says that all the elements of jealousy a man must have, else you won't protect what you have. That was talking to men about protecting their women. And women also must have it. But the healthy one, when you cross that line, you say you don't enter small insanity. So what I can advise is what I only practice, because I don't study this thing in any school. Yes. Give yourself room, some place to breathe. We are all in love with our loves. And at some point, they go. They must test life. You can't choke them. They are not chickens. Even chickens, if they release them, so you must allow them go. And in that allowing them go, you must allow yourself breathe. You cannot also police them along where they go. You worry yourself to insanity. I think apart from that, I don't have any
that you can think of right now.
I think you should also have your life. Focus on it. Do some things that find your fulfillment. Because when you finally get back together, you don't want to be the one asking, where have you been, without having things to say about where you have been. What you have been able to do. I like my time or my me time. I hardly get it these days, but I used to enjoy it a lot. Everybody should go. Recently I found out my office is my safe space. When I get into my office, there's this 10 minutes I used to take. My former secretary didn't know it. She'll come with all the gist. Madam, it's now I brought the file. But my new secretary, I don't know where that girl learns it. When I come in that first 10 minutes, I don't get disturbed. I lock the door. Sometimes I slip off when I'm just, calming down from all the stress, or whatever. And that's where I found my safe space. That silence I get when I come in, I love it. And so I know how healthy it is. I think that escape, going and coming, renewing your stories, renewing your experience to share with your love, is also part of life. That's the only thing I can tell.
For now, I know what I would tell you to get another thing.
Yeah. So I think we need to. There's a way we speak English in this part of the world that confuses me when we now want to expand on it, right? So I had to go quickly to the dictionary to understand if jealousy is related to relationship, which is not. But first of all, let me tell you the meaning of being possessive. It says demanding someone's total attention and love. That's being possessive. So with this explanation now, it's not wrong to be possessive. I want my husband to be able to love me and give me attention. I don't want him to be able to give Nima small attention, give Abigail small, give Tope small. I want your eyes.
I don't want to share you.
Thank you. And it's not a bad thing, right? Now, the meaning of jealousy is feeling or showing an envious resentment of someone or their achievements, possessions, or perceived advantage.
So those are two different things.
Two different things. So for jealousy in relationship is a different ballgame, where the man is now jealous of your achievement. That's different. But when it comes to sexual relations and romance, it's possessiveness we're looking at. But there's also another word, which is obsession. Because I was thinking in my head, what are we trying to explain here? Let me quickly get it. The state of being obsessed with someone or something. So where I see this obsession and obsessive behavior is what we now call possessiveness, where you don't want your partner to have any relations with anybody. You don't want him to talk to anybody. Even in the office, he should not smile with any woman. You are constantly monitoring him. There's no trust.
You are checking his phone. If he tells you he's here, you are calling. Do video call. Let me see. I've seen partners where they go out. They want to call. It has to be, what are you doing? I want to show Oga that all of us are here. I want to show Madam that all of us are here. You know, that becomes a problem. And that is what we're saying, that it is not healthy. And you can see some of these signs when you're starting the relationship. People that are obsessive and, you know, they don't hide it. They would cut off interactions that you're having with, even as close as your family members are. There are certain things they don't allow. They will say, this one that every time you are calling your mother. Is it every day you have to call your mother? Is it every day your sister will just come into the house? Is it, you can always tell that they have this. They don't hide it. It's not hidden. Because it comes from a place of anger and insecurity. Where they believe that if they don't hook you, they cannot have you. Because they don't see themselves as valuable, that you will naturally come to them. You will naturally choose to be with them. So they are doing everything to make sure that you don't have a choice. Where, in fact, I had one relationship that I was helping them go through. I realized that the guy had something to do with somebody else. At that point, he had not done the actual cheating. But he was in talks with another person. And then the girl found out. And she went to go and take drugs to kill herself. That's abuse. She's the abusive one, as far as I'm concerned, because she will use that manipulation to hook that guy forever. Any small thing, I will cut myself. Any small thing, I will kill myself. So you are manipulating this person because you do not trust that the person can choose to be with you because of your insecurity. That's the extreme.
It to another level.
Yes, and it happens. So they may not tell you. They will manipulate with cry. They will manipulate with silent treatment. They can manipulate with anything. This one was just extreme. That's why we saw that she had to take things to want to take her life in order to keep the man.
What if she doesn't just know how to handle pressure? Not because of the
it's
man.
a problem.
There are people who
if
don't
you don't
know how
to handle pressure, it's a problem.
I know
it's lack of maturity.
And you come for therapy.
And relationships should be for mature people.
Exactly.
So if someone is broken, being in a relationship with such a person requires you need to go and heal yourself, so that the responsibility is not on me
the other person
to manage your insecurities and your weakness. But let me hear from you.
Partners grow together now. You know, you of course, you meet people. You meet one mature person and the other immature person, and they find a middle ground at the end of the day. You know it happens. It's just what you want in the relationship. But
maturity today they have trauma. Go ahead.
So I don't think being possessive is a bad thing. No. I feel it's a form of accountability. Yes, you're mine. They said two shall become one. So if you're me, I have to know what's going on. And if there's accountability, there will not be room for temptations and certain mistakes. So if you're going somewhere, and I feel like, let's just use Nigeria for instance. I'm not comfortable where you're going to. I don't know where you're going to. I have to know where you're going to. I have to know the people you're with, because you know people go out and don't come back. Accountability. You have to be accountable. And if I'm calling you every time, you've told me, okay, I'm spending just 2 hours and 3 hours, and then after 3 hours, I'm calling you, what's up? Or even while you're there, I'm talking. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think you should be accountable, because I feel that because of this coinage, jealousy and possessiveness, a lot of persons have used it as an avenue to do anyhow in marriages. You're choking me, so I'm looking for peace. That's because you don't want to be accountable to your partner. Yes. First, if you love your partner, it shouldn't be a problem for you to actually tell your partner, okay, I'm so okay, babe, I can't talk now. It's not a problem. So what I would say is people should learn their partner's love languages. Waiting be your love language. Before you go come table and I begin to do lovey-dovey, what's your love language? I've seen people who don't like clingy partners. They will tell you from beginning, okay, I don't like clingy people. I've seen somebody that says he doesn't like people touching his head. You will know from beginning.
What if you have our own button? My person no like.
You know, there are words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, gift sharing, and all that.
They don't even know.
And all of them, different partners with different. If your partner's love language is quality time,
it's good food.
you can't say no, me, I'm not, I like being by myself. It won't work. So I think from the table, you should already have that say it. Yeah. See, I go out a lot, before I will marry you. You see, I club a lot, you know. Yes, I'm a night bird, though. So discuss these things before you get into the relationship, so that you not use grammar and be spoiling
if you know yourself already. Let me take Deborah. Deborah has called in from Bayelsa. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
My name is Deborah. I'm calling from Bayelsa State. Now, concerning today's show. Okay, I think in relationship it has to be a two-way thing. Because if from the beginning of the relationship, if it's not defined, it's going to be affected. Their relationship will be affected. Do you get?
Yes.
If what the guy or the lady wants is not defined, it will affect their marriage.
Thank you so much.
So let me land with my thoughts. I will say, apart from knowing your partner's love language, get busy with your time. You're married to this person. You're not you're not semi-strained. So if he's going out for an event, what are you doing? You should be busy instead of checkmating, because you can't checkmate an adult. You can't control an adult. So as Nimat said, and the last one I will say is, have your own. If you have a high self-esteem, if you know your self-worth, you will not be overly possessive or jealous. You know what you bring to the table.
I love that.
Yes, you know what you bring.
Leave that thing.
I love
Leave that thing.
So
possessiveness is healthy.
No. She said that. It has a sense of self-worth. And she said,
so when you have the self-worth, even the man you're living knows that he will be doing himself a lot of disservice by maybe making you angry or not coming back to you. You know, there are people that when you lose, you say, I've lost someone.
Yes, we know.
Be that person.
We are that person. But I'm telling you on this table now that you cannot just be opening. So let me give you an instance. When we were dating, I just realized that there's this girl that used to just come around, brother, okay, I come for counseling, brother. Then when they're not doing the counseling, her teeth is here.
She'll be laughing.
She will be laughing. Anytime I pass, the teeth,
what are you looking for?
What's going on?
Is it counseling or something else?
So why is she laughing? Anyhow, when they're counseling, it's supposed to be a serious matter. But
if laugh day inside.
No, laugh no day inside. She was just grinning from ear to ear. She's so relaxed. I said, brother, this counseling has to stop because I don't get it. He said, why? I said, no, the counseling has to stop. You're not the only brothers leader in the fellowship. They didn't find another brothers leader because I don't understand this smile. And I was in my rights to do so because I later found out that she had a game plan. So possessiveness, see, I'm not asking for too much. Love me.
So what she did was she had defined it. So let's not say unhealthy.
She's talking
let's say obsession. Possessiveness is not a bad thing.
Possessiveness is a rich family. Calm down, because the word, the way we understood the word, generally is how we should leave it. When we put it like this, now people say, it's busy God that said it on live TV.
It's dictionary.
So I can be possessive.
English
Some people are so possessive. Their mother-in-law is knocking at the door outside. They don't want to see. And if they come now, my husband, I was at that point one time. My husband's brother had been abroad for so long, and then when he visited that night, I did not see my husband. I waited 1 a.m.
They went out,
and that time
they were gisting.
He now slept off on the floor while his brother was on the bed. So I now crawled past twice. That one now woke him up. He said, is that the one that said that she come? That one say, you they crawl. I say, they crawl. I be a one knock. If not be out of respect, if I bang that door, But he was fine. He was in his right to have missed his brother, to have a conversation with his brother. It's okay that he was there. But the way I called the checker and said, because I was a young bride, where I am right now, I beg you, now you can do for 2 minutes.
Can you imagine?
Come when you're ready.
I reject this.
No, but that's how I am now. Really.
I
can be indoors. Yes, you can be hosting his entire family as head of family outside. And I'm in my room. When he consigned me, they will shout. In fact, my neighbors already know my name.
Me, I have not matured out of my possessiveness.
Are you serious?
I have not matured out of my possessiveness.
I've
learned how to manage it better, but I have not matured out of it. I am possessive. I want attention. I'm telling you myself. I want attention, and I let him know. I want you to be accountable.
Not first wife or first son. Right now where I am, if you do not tell me something, I really don't want to know.
In support.
Yeah, because you give me responsibilities.
Pioneer Capital said men should allow their wives to have their phone password.
I have his password.
Also, don't give your spouse any reason to suspect you. Be open when you're open. There's no room for.
Let me say this.
That's making you suspect.
I think that there's a major lesson that I learned in my journey, because I have to acknowledge I'm actually a very, very possessive person. I can tilt towards being a little bit on the monitoring.
You like this? I'm shocked.
I'm the nicest person to everybody. You see my husband? Oh no. We don't play there. We don't play there. No. I don't play with him. Even my relationship with him is very, very different from my relationship with every other person. So I can be really nice. Well, he might fight. Even like you don't fight anybody, I don't fight anybody. But you see my husband, I fight my husband. Because you and I, we are in the same trouser. Yeah, so your decision affects my life forever. So you must make the right decision. So but I had to learn to get a life. I had to learn to get friendship. I had to learn because I was loving to choking point for him.
You realize.
And I realized that I should give him room to breathe. But I couldn't create that room because it was my life. So I had to
diagnose now.
You know, their sibling.
Anxious attachment style.
Maybe.
And he is probably an avoidant attachment.
He had his siblings. You didn't have siblings.
I did not have. So I had to explain to him.
Anybody when I don't do 2 hours. 2 hours is too much. I don't make everybody come and go.
So no, but I had to understand myself that I didn't have siblings. My only love relationship with my parents. So being you that you're in love with me, is from my parents to my husband's house. So my husband was like everything. He's still everything, but I have friends, and those friends help me to balance it. It was important for me to have friends. So I had to pray about it because those friends helped me to create a bit of balance. If not, I would have used love to finish him.
Let me tell you something. This is just very pivotal, and unfortunately, we don't talk about this enough. So back in the day, marriages were for a reason. Friendships were for a reason. So now, because everybody wants to be on their own, we now put all the burden of friendship, your club, family on one person.
Thank you.
The romantic partner should not carry the burden of being your friend, your best friend, your family, your father, your mother, and also be a romantic lover. In this, it's heavy, and we don't talk about this because many people don't understand what's going on. That's why after a while, everybody just gets tired. Like, I'm just tired. Can we just pack up? Let's just go, because you've not had an outlet aside from your romantic partner to share. Don't forget, it's supposed to be romance. It's supposed to be romance. So you now bring family problem. You bring motherhood. You bring everything to him. The burden is too much on one person. So the best is, I like the fact that you now highlighted, you now have friends, have relationships outside your marriage. Have friends. If you want to belong to a club, those days I used to see my grandmother go to clubs.
Now we understand.
Weekends like this, they have their meeting club, this meeting club, this everything. When they come back home, they are refreshed. Then you can now use your freshness to face your romantic lover and back inside the room.
Let me take Gladys. Welcome to the show and welcome to the conversation. How you doing?
My sister Abigail, you understand it?
I understand fully.
I'm a first-time caller.
Yay, welcome to the show.
I really enjoy watching your show a lot.
Thank you.
Kind of empowering for women most of the times, if not all of the time.
Thank you.
What I want to say about this jealousy and possessiveness, sometimes I believe it's healthy, but there should be a level where when it crosses the line, you know that it has become something else. It's nice and okay for us to be jealous for our partners, our husbands, our wives, but it should not be something that will make the relationship sour or that will bring aggression or stuff like that. And another thing I would like to say about it is that sometimes distrust, when your spouse has broken your loyalty, you don't trust that person again. So you tend to be very jealous. If, peradventure, I'm a woman and my partner or my husband has cheated on me, the moment I see him with a lady, my brain just goes somehow, and like I start fighting from within. I'm fine with anything, I start fighting physically. That's just an example. So trust issues sometimes make women or men have jealousy or possessiveness problems. But most of the times, I think it's healthy, but there should be boundaries. There should be limits. It shouldn't go out of order. It shouldn't go out of order. The two of you should understand yourself. Trust yourself to the extent that when you hear something or see something, you will be able to be calm and want to find out what really happened or why did this thing happen before you start reacting irrationally. So that's my
thank you so much. Thank you. I love that. I also think that it brought up our conversation around betrayal brought me to a point of previous experience of betrayal. If you've been in a relationship with a cheat before, the likelihood of you being a more suspicious partner is very high because you have been once bitten, twice shy. So how can we help someone who has been in a relationship who has been betrayed before, or maybe your father was a serial cheat? That also happens that's what you grew up with, where you grew up with a father that was always cheating, or you also had past cheating relationship. When you get married, you likely would be more suspicious because this is your template that you are coming in with. How can we help such a person to find a healthy... I
can even understand those who have experienced it. The people who watch it from film
and now bring it to
a particular Asian channel that when you watch it, you just create all those their features as your reality.
No, but you know, movies are like they can become a reality. They be real life. Your brain can begin to think of it.
Hey, but it's not your own reality now. You now watch it and start to expect everybody.
Let me take Beauty. Beauty has called it from London. Let's not waste Beauty's credit. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, beautiful lady.
Good morning.
For today, I just want to add my own view.
Okay.
Now, jealousy and this word.
Oh, so sorry we lost that call, but you know,
so that's I was going somewhere that for some people those were their experiences from their past, and it will be important that you heal. But I know those who are who work themselves up from circumstances. Okay, I didn't experience this. Maybe Abigail did, but after I will come home. I was at that point when I was doing a lot of divorce cases. I would just come home. It was domestic violence cases. Happened from my house. But that just walk up past me. Just because somebody had, poured in their problems, I couldn't separate from it from the office. I carried it home, and then it affected my home. I had to work myself to that point where once you are telling me it has ended, it has finished, I'm able to detach from it. You get there. So some people really, those are the experiences. When they come into that marriage, they should acknowledge that problem. Because
verbalize it with your partner.
And yes, and explain it so that you're able to. And you also must be deliberate about detaching from that experience and allowing yourself experience a new relationship. Because if you carry it into every relationship, everybody is a suspect.
I watched a movie. I watched some series back to back, and there was a lot of cheating in those movies, and I became more FBI for a season, and I had to remind myself, like, why are you doing this? Because I'm self-aware enough to know that something I'm being more anxious than I usually would be, and it wasn't based on anything he did. It was just because I had watched a movie where the guy was a bad guy. He was such a bad guy that I was not projecting what I got from that movie. So when you say his film is not ordinary film, when you watch films about it gets into your mind. So I had to stop it. There's a series I was watching. I stopped it because that series kept over and over again about trauma going from one generation to the next. And I said, why am I watching this?
That's not
it's not my story, and it would not be my story, so I'm not going to watch it anymore. So I stopped. So I think that this thing about movies and what you watch, you might not know that's where it's triggering an insecurity you probably already had. So if you are watching something about cheating and all of that, stop watching it because you don't need it. Watch romantic comedy. Watch the one that will make you laugh. The one that will love. Watch Acholugo. Buy the house for me. Watch it again and again and start visualizing the fact that the man will just come and say, I have bought the street for you.
Just to get your number.
So I think
many of us are traumatized and we have not healed and we are not aware. So some people are on one spectrum of not being aware that they even have trauma. That the life that they are living right now is not even the life they are meant to live. There's something we say in life coaching, who is driving your red car? They are not the ones driving their red car. They are living a life that either their mother has lived, their father has lived. Everything is embedded in the subconscious, and that's what they are living. There are some on a spectrum where they understand that, okay, I am traumatized, but they are not ready to get the necessary healing. And when you're in that spot, you get into a relationship. Everything that is your trauma can be triggered by what your partner is doing. So he comes to the studio, he smiles with Abigail, and because I already have a trauma of infidelity or lack of trust or someone cheating behind, that smile he smiled at Abigail has to explain to me why he's smiling at Abigail, right? The smile would have just been an innocent smile. He could have smiled at any other person. So we need to understand where we are as a people. And I like the fact that we're not rushing people to get into marriages very fast these days. We're allowing people to mature to a certain level before they now start getting into marriages. Because when you get into, if it's a relationship, we can easily break up. Nobody knows. Carry my bag, you carry your bag. We are done with the relationship. But when it's marriage and there's a breakup that is coming, it affects every other person, the family, the children, and all of that. So it's important that we pay a lot more attention to who we are. Self-awareness is key. Why am I reacting this way? Why am I this anxious? Why am I this possessive? Why am I this obsessed? What is going on? What is there in my subconscious that I have not healed? Could it be from how I saw my father act, or how I saw my mother act, or how, it's been in my lineage that this is it? And that film you are running away from, it's not for you to run away from trauma. It's for you to understand that the battles you don't fight is waiting for your children. There's nothing. You see how these household enemies we call when we are praying? It's not that somebody is doing you, it's that you are doing yourself if you don't heal certain things. So if you understand it, then you can now start looking, why do I act this way? Why do I do this? Man, know thyself. And then you can profile how you can move forward. If you need to get a therapist, get a therapist. Because I do not understand why you'll be in a situation, in a relationship where you cannot trust. It's a problem.
Let me tell you a joke. My husband was sleeping in the afternoon when the Sarah Yeku was doing community report on TVC News. And then as she was rounding up the news, somebody sleeping, I woke up, I'm Sarah Yeku, reporting for TVC News. I said, well, Auntie Shelley.
You have said it before now.
He woke up and said it.
He woke up and called, he likes her voice.
Okay.
I say,
I know,
Sarah, me and you.
Thank God you don't have that trauma.
To you.
Honestly.
I came to office to come and ask Sarah, what happened? They don't know before. That's how life is.
No, but you see how you took it as a joke now. Somebody would have thought that Sarah is doing something that is making my husband attracted to her. And it becomes an issue.
Or start thinking that he's so there's no need. We need to love ourselves. And honestly, we're out of time. But I think that Nima that was saying she's not going to share tools. Is it not you that have shared tools at the end of the day? We need to realize that this thing called trauma, whether we acknowledge it or not, if it is already there, it is there, and it plays out. And it will be sad for the person on the receiving end. Insecurity is trauma. If you've always felt rejected growing up, most likely you would get into a relationship and put the burden of affirming you on that person. So I think it's extremely important. I like what Abigail said about accountability. If you are in a relationship, you're accountable to your partner. So you should be able to let your partner know where you're going to and all of that. Honor your partner with your accountability. Have a sense of self-worth. Love yourself. Know that you are valuable. Know what, like, I am the table. If you miss this table, you have missed a whole lot. Or yours is your case. And don't, Nima, don't look at another person's table and be harassing your own. Build your own table too. If you have married somebody, sometimes they'll look at us like this now and be saying, why are you not like this one? Somebody is building this table. Build your own table. Then the idea about being productive and being busy. Because if you are not busy, you might end up using that time to occupy and keep somebody else, I don't mind devil's workshop kind of thing. Yes. And I think that this talk about betrayal is so important. We did not dig into it much. But if you have been betrayed before, please go for therapy. If you are in a relationship and your partner has betrayed you, you might think you've forgiven, but both of you should go for therapy. It will help you in managing the relationship going forward. Therapy is a beautiful thing. It helps you to take a better look at life. And we have many amazing life coaches. Pay them. This is one of them. Pay them. Let them help you understand your emotion and heal so that you are a complete human being dealing with life, not carrying baggages from the past. Thank you, ladies, for an amazing show. I have professors, you know, on the table today, so it was a resourceful show. If you missed any part of it, you missed a whole lot. Go to YouTube and watch the replay. That's what we can take today. You will meet them again tomorrow. That's my wonderful ones in the middle there for your view pigeon. For me, tomorrow, it is next week. From Nima and I, it is still next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.